What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Street Marvel and the Morning Movie Chat. I am your host, Trinity. Thank you all so much for being here today. I hope you're all having a very good day here on, God, what are we all on already? The 7th, Tuesday, January 7th. We're 1 week in, folks, 1 week into the new year. I hope this new year has been very good for you all. I just want to start this chat off by saying this morning I woke up and I've talked about this channel several times here on just on my shows and things like that, and that is Tom Bilyeu over at Impact Theory. I'm not sure if you guys follow that channel here on YouTube. It's a channel I think a lot of people should go out there and definitely check out. They just dropped a new video today. Tom Bilyeu gets on there and he talks to a lot of people who have been successful in business and just in different things in their life. And I think that's something that's very important for many of us out there, to improve our quality of life. And just to help us, be better people. We can contribute more when we are doing better, just better things for ourselves and to help better the world. So this morning he actually just dropped a video talking to this gentleman, and it was a really great conversation and something that I kind of wanted to touch on today here. As just I've kind of been talking about some of these things a little bit here lately, and let me see what was that gentleman's name? Jacko Willink. You should definitely make sure that you go and check out that video. Again, one I highly recommend that you guys go check out, because I really like the interviews that Tom Bilyeu does over there. Like I said, on Tuesdays he does ones like he did today, where they're talking to different people who have been successful in business, in leadership, and just things like that. And I think they're things that can apply to all of our lives. And today's particular episode was really good, and it's something that kind of made me want to talk a little bit more about this Collider situation. But we're also going to go ahead and we're going to get into some Black Widow speculation as well, and maybe just a little bit more. James Clark Artist, thank you so much for being here. Biden Touch, thank you for being here. I am True Skills, how are you doing this morning? Again, thank you guys so much for being here today. Now, one thing I do want to let you guys know is this video. In case you guys don't know, these videos are being brought to you by all my Patreon supporters. Here you can see their list of names. There are a couple I still got to get added on there that I haven't got on there, including people like Captain Pennsylvania and Ryan from Nerdy Blurb TV, who have become some of my newest Patreon supporters. I do greatly appreciate every single one of these people, and these people are my Patreon supporters. These live shows are brought to you by my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much, and there are some links down in the description where you can go and you can check out my Patreon, see what we have to offer there. I haven't really yet got it really amped up or anything, but that's kind of one of my goals here in this new year, is to provide more value for the people who support me on the channel there. And that's one of the things that they are going to be doing, is providing basically they are the sponsors of these live shows. So thank you all once again to all of my awesome Patreon supporters. And like I said, there are links down there where you can even send direct donations here to the channel. Of course, it's nothing that's required. Hey, I'm going to be here flapping my gums about these different things in the first place. 1-2 Comic Talk, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're having a great day as well. So getting right into this, first thing that I wanted to talk about is Collider. There's been this whole thing, and I feel these are things that I think are important out there to talk about. As much as I don't want to continue beating up this dead horse, I gotta tell you, it seems like a lot of people are very interested in wanting to hear about this whole Collider situation. We know that not too long ago, just here at the end of the year, actually I believe it was at the very beginning of the year, they announced that they were canceling some of their biggest shows. Okay, they're canceled the Jedi Council, their movie talk, and I believe Collider Live as well. These are three of their biggest shows. I think there was another one that they did that they canceled as well. For the Love of Movies, thank you so much for being here. This young gentleman is he renamed his channel. This is Kobe. He's very great young movie reviewer. You should definitely go check out his channel. I would highly suggest it. One of these days he's going to be a bigger voice here on YouTube. I can almost guarantee you that. Sith Lord, thank you so much for being here. So, it's funny because this morning, like I was saying at the top, this story with Tom Bilyeu where he was talking to this gentleman just about leadership, something that I've kind of dipped my toes in a lot throughout my just my personal career and personal journey as a person. He's talking about leadership, and this is something that I was talking about with Collider, and the situation that they kind of have going on there. Now, the one thing I wanna say about that is, I want to ask you guys. Let me ask you guys this. How do you guys feel about this Collider situation and what's been going on? As far as I know, they still haven't come out and addressed this situation where Jack Hind came out and was basically, maybe he was just being snarky, but he was throwing shade at the people who had just lost their jobs out there from Collider after their shows had got canceled. How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel that Collider should be issuing maybe a public apology or somehow doing something to sort of reel that in because of these comments made by this guy who is supposedly their second in charge in Jack Hind. To me, I feel like is it too late for them? Also, is it too late for them to make those apologies that I feel they should actually make? And I'm not saying they have to actually apologize necessarily, but more so issue a statement to the public and to their viewers about the situation and what's been handled. And maybe this guy's going to lose his job anyway. I'm not one of these people that's part of the cancel culture that believes somebody should just be fired. I think we all make mistakes. I think we all make mistakes, and we all learn from them. Making mistakes is how we grow. You know what I mean? Failure is how you learn to be successful. And I've kind of looked into this guy, this Jack Hind, a little bit, into his background. Some of the things he did come up on a show with some other friends. That they had done these talk shows, talking about. I know it seemed like they were doing a lot of talk about Flash and things like that. So he was doing the exact same thing before with his friends and other people that he had aligned with on his former shows. And then he goes out there and makes these comments that he did on Twitter, where he was talking about, movie talk and fart jokes. The thing is that's what you came up doing too, buddy. Never forget where you came from. Never forget where you came from. And does Collider owe its viewers an apology? I think not necessarily an apology, but I think they do owe probably their viewers at least some form of reaction. And maybe that comes in the form of maybe this Jack Hind guy does lose his job, which I think that might be the smart move for them to make. That might be the right move. But at the same time, I think that maybe the better thing is for Jack Hind to eat his humble pie, and maybe he needs to go out there and address this thing head on and apologize. Apologize to the people that he made these remarks about, and I think that's something important because owning up to our mistakes is something that is a huge thing for all of us when we make mistakes, is owning up to them. It seems these days personal responsibility it seems like it's at an all-time low with a lot of people out there, especially on social media and things like that. People don't want to take responsibility for their actions or the things that they say, and I think it's very, very important that a guy like this goes out there and does issue maybe an apology, not necessarily just to the people that he had trampled on their work, on their following that they had built, but also to the viewers in reflecting those things of the company, because he is representative of that company. Even if he was just a host of one of their shows over there, he is a representative of that company. I think it's very important that he goes out there and does that. Vlad Riot, thank you so much for being here. Biden Touch says, remember, Collider guy, you came from fart jokes. Exactly. I'm True Skill says, what's up, chat? Hope you guys are having a blessed day. As a matter of fact, I am. I just got done before the show. That's why I started a little bit late here. Got Got back from my morning bike ride, got about, I don't know, maybe about 16 miles in, just a little over 16 miles in some, like, when I started out with some 30-degree weather, so it was nice and chilly. But, something I think everybody should do is start their day off right, whether that's go for a morning walk, do a morning workout, go for a bike ride, do something to get your blood flowing, make sure you stay hydrated, and, it just really does help with so many different things. Now the thing is, I think this guy does owe I think he does owe these people an apology, and I think the one thing like I was saying earlier with this Tom Bilyeu and his channel and this particular video they dropped today, something I've been talking about is the leadership, and this guy is showing bad leadership. Supposedly he is the second in charge over at Collider. And, so he is in a leadership position. You got to set an example for others to follow. And does that mean that you're going to be perfect? Absolutely not. Are leaders perfect? Absolutely not. There's always a learning curve. Do we know everything as a leader? Absolutely not. Do we falter as leaders? Absolutely, we do. But there's a time and a place for things, and when you falter as a leader and do things like this, you definitely have to own up to those mistakes. And I think one of the most important things when it comes to being in that leadership role, one thing that's definitely and here's what I want to start off. I want to talk about this is when you're in a leadership role. One of the biggest things that I believe when you're a leader, one of the first lessons you have to learn, and that is is teamwork and being a team player. And to start off there, you have to be a part of a team. This guy Jack Hind has been part of a team. He's built a following. That's how he got his position at Collider. Like I said, he was part of another team of individuals, where they were doing a lot of reviews on the Flash series and things like that. You can go back, you can search his name here on YouTube and learn a little bit more about this guy. And I think, he knows what it's like. He's been in that position before. He's been in the same position that all these people that lost their jobs were. He's been on that. You know what I mean? But the thing is somewhere along the lines, he got himself a big ego. Maybe he forgot. Maybe he's not. When you get put in a leadership role, like I said, you're not going to be perfect. But you always got to remember where you came from, and that starts with the teamwork. And teamwork makes the dream work. And when you're part of the team, that's something that's very important. Is you got to learn to work with others. You got to learn to accept others' criticisms of you. You got to be open to listening to others and things like that. And that means listening to others, especially when you go and you make some of these knuckleheaded comments like this guy had made on social media. So altogether, does Collider? I think Collider really definitely needs to come out and address these things that have happened. They don't necessarily need to, and they don't need to throw this guy under the bus because he threw himself under the bus. What they need to do is, I think they do need to come out and address their fans and maybe an open apology letter and say, hey, we apologize for the conduct of one of our representatives. They while they represent the company, they don't represent how we feel as a company. And then I do think that this guy does owe a lot of people a huge apology. And I think, is that going to bring back their audience? Is that going to get all of the people who have unsubscribed from Collider and have been turned away by these remarks? Is that going to bring everybody back? I honestly doubt it. But I believe it helps them turn that curve to where they can start to rebuild relationships with the viewers that they have on that they have currently, and maybe bring some of those people back, because I think a lot of us, a lot of people out there in the world, we understand humility. We understand that none of us are perfect, and we certainly are always willing to give somebody a second chance, especially when somebody owns up to the mistakes that they have made. It's just a simple fact, and I think it's something very important that I honestly think they need to go out there and address this thing. But let me know how you guys feel about that down in the comments below. I'm going to go ahead and get in here before we move on to some Black Widow, and let's see what everybody has to say here. Let's see. Sith Lord says Jack don't know humble, and he would only be doing it because he got called out. You know what? But sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes that's what it takes is to be for our humbleness is being called out. Sometimes we have to be called out to maybe take a look at ourselves in the mirror and take a look at those kinds of things. Like, okay, like I was wrong. And I do need to address this. B level Star Wars, thank you so much for being here. He says, I still have I have, sorry, I still have respect for a lot of people that have come and gone in my journey on YouTube. Even if there are creative differences, it's good to value what you can learn from others and support them still. Very much indeed, B level, very much indeed. I very much agree with that. We all make mistakes, and sometimes we go out there and we misrepresent ourselves. You know what I mean? We misrepresent ourselves, and when we do that, there's really no other way. I mean, aside from correcting our own behaviors, sometimes it takes us coming out and actually giving a good heartfelt apology to round that corner. Fanjecture, thank you so much for being here. Says, I doubt they will put out an apology. Would have done so by now. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with that. However, I also think maybe they didn't completely see the ramifications of what was going on. One of the things that was interesting that Josh from the Den of Nerds was talking about was, when they had decided to get rid of these shows, which were big shows, is maybe they actually had somebody there who really dove deep into their analytics and found that, while these shows are getting a lot of viewership and things like that and are making them money, maybe they did see something in there that was saying, hey man, these shows, we need to get rid of them and move on. And that certainly could be the case. And I noticed, God, one of the guys, and I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. And let me see. I don't know if I can find it here. You guys probably know who it is. His name was, he hosted that show. Believe it was the Jedi Council. No, is it Mark? Let me see if I can find it here. It was Mark something. You guys probably know exactly who I'm talking about. If you ever watched that show, like I said, I never really watched a whole lot of Collider. But I seen that he actually came out with a video. He actually started his own YouTube channel. He's got his Patreon open, and a lot of people. There's been an outpouring of support for him and things like that. So he's going to be starting his own little podcast and thing until he gets a new job, and that's a very good thing. That to me shows that while maybe their numbers were slipping over there at Collider, there are still people engaged and like what he provided to them, and that's one of the important things, is providing value for viewers. And I went to his channel, and I seen him sitting there just kind of talking and everything, and I was like, man, like this, like I feel bad for this guy, because not just because he lost a job. Hell, we all lose jobs. I've lost jobs before, you know what I mean? But the way in which it's done, and then the way people conduct themselves afterward, is a huge thing, especially when you got that guy in charge of this company who goes and says these kinds of things. It's just wrong. So. But yeah, I honestly doubt they'll put out an apology, but I think it's something they definitely need to address. B level Star Wars says, then again, I guess they did their thing for money, so it might be a bit different. And professional relationships can be different than building communities on passions and hobbies. Yeah, I actually agree with you there. However, I mean, we all, like, when they're, especially a company like that, they're definitely doing it for money. I mean, that's what a company is for. Companies are to make money. That's what you start a company for, is to make money. And because most of the people there working for a company, they have families, they have bills and things like that. And sure, you can look at charitable organizations and things like that. You do get a lot of volunteers, but sometimes they do still make money to be able to keep things afloat. I mean, they have to. Does that mean that you have to be super profitable? Absolutely not. But you definitely, they are in the business of making money. And those professional relationships and building the communities on passion and hobbies can play into that, especially in a thing like Collider, because that's how they build their community, is with their passion of their hobbies and things like that, and making money talking about those things. I mean, we all want to make money. For the things that we're passionate about, and that's if you're starting a business, or you're a creator or anything like that, that's kind of what you get into it for. Does that mean you're in it to get rich? Absolutely not. I own my own local business here where I live at. Am I doing it to get rich? No. I'm never going to get rich doing what I do. I just do it to support my family, to pay my bills, and things like that. I'm not out there looking to get rich. I'm just out there looking to support myself, and I guess have somewhat of a decent lifestyle. So So yeah, but obviously they are trying to make they do want to make money, but that shouldn't come at the expense of selling themselves out and their own how would you say, I guess, their own opinions out just for money. There's a difference there, and I know some people call it shilling, and that's absolutely, I hate that term, but that's, I guess you could say, that's absolutely what it is selling your opinions for things like that. Bilyeu says, "Yeah, morning workout is the easiest, is the way to go. Certainly, it gets your blood flowing. It gets just so many different things going for you. It gets your head in the right space. And I don't care when you work out. Just getting your workout in is definitely getting your head in the right space to get for the day, for the evening, and things like that. I know I definitely sleep better on a day when I've went out there and worked out." B-Level says, it gets easier at the end of the day once you're used to it. Yes, it very much does. Zoolander Entertainment, thank you so much for being here. Aggressively Relaxing says they should double down and just be really mean from now on. Welcome to Collider. Go F yourself. Aggressively Relaxing. You're too funny, my brother. You are too funny. Fanjecture says they've lost 20K followers since this whole debacle. Man, that's a lot. I don't even have 20,000 followers, but 20,000 followers, that's a significant amount of people. Certainly, Sith Lord says apologies mean nothing if it's not real, and that's the thing is, I think that I think if Jack actually came out and issued an apology, if he did it on his own volition, I think it would be something that's real, not where his boss says you have to issue an apology. That's when it's not heartfelt, and that's when it's really not. That's when it's really not genuine. But I think certainly at this point, he owes it to himself to apologize to all these people, not just to us or to the viewers. I can't say us because I never really watched the show, but he owes it to himself to issue that apology. Like I said, he went out and locked his Twitter account up and things like that. So he's obviously feeling the ramifications of that, and I think that issuing an apology would help himself move forward. Will Gentry says he might owe a lot of people an apology, but do you ever think they'll get one? Because I don't. I think at some point we will. Maybe one of these days. Hopefully soon. Hopefully for him soon, he will take and confront that issue. Aggressively Relaxing says, to be fair, Collider does have some of the best fart content on the World Wide Web. Oh yes, that's funny. Farts are a vital part of all operations, YouTube or otherwise. Indeed, they are. Is Collider level, or is LVL, or are they different? I'm not sure what you mean. What you mean there, Vlad Riot. Fanjecture says it's so obvious that Mark Fernandez, having been a former Complex guy, is looking for that one knockout series like Hot Ones, a Complex show. Not sure why he thinks Deep Fake Theater will be that. Again, I don't know a whole lot about that, but I think they do certainly need to find a way to move forward, and doing that is going to be finding that talent out there to do something a little more out of the box from what they're doing. And I think that does come with maybe finding people out there. Like I think just from what I've seen of this Jack Hind guy, he might be that guy. But I think some of it too might be finding people out there that have grown a following and have very different points of view. One of the person that does like this, and one of the person that doesn't like that, and getting those people on shows that have very maybe not necessarily opposite, but different varying degrees of opinions that clash with each other, because not necessarily for drama, but because getting those varying degrees of opinions is something that people want to see, people want to hear about. So I think that would be very important for them to do. So I can't really speak on that because I never seen Complex or that show Hot Ones, let alone Deep Fake. But I mean, that would definitely be something for them to do. Like I said, and that's the thing is, you can't. It's hard when you're constantly following trends, because trends are changing by the minute, especially on social media. So they definitely need to find people that can kind of navigate those waters. Certainly. Fanjecture says he also made his money through cryptocurrency. He's a shortcut kind of guy. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the game of like YouTube and social media as well, is not necessarily finding shortcuts, but basically finding what's right now, what's right now, what's right now. How can I do this? How can I do that? What is my way to get my foot in the door and get through it even faster? That's something that we certainly see a whole lot of people do, especially like here on YouTube. A movie trailer drops. I mean, I'm telling you, there's people. As soon as the movie trailer drops, they're live reacting to it. They're live reacting to it. They're not even waiting to watch it, absorb it, and then do a reaction video and talk about it. They're wanting to do it right now. Right now, everybody has to do it right now. I made a joke not too long ago on Twitter before Rise of Skywalker had come out, like about 2 weeks, maybe about 3 weeks before it had hit the theater. I was like, ooh, I am currently uploading my my review of the Rise of Skywalker, which people are laughing. And a couple people are like, man, you already seen it? Like it's not even out yet. And it's like, it's a joke. It's a joke because that's what people do. Like you got to be the first. And hey, I get it, because you need the views and things like that to bring in viewers, to hopefully get people to your channel, to hopefully get them hooked into watching your content, and hopefully they'll end up liking it. And more so than anything, it's what people come for is to see who's talking and see the personality of the people delivering those certain messages. It's not necessarily the message in itself. Vlad Riot says, Second Street Marvel, random question. Which of the posters behind you is your favorite? Honestly, I really like that Captain America one. That was one of the first ones I got. The Black Cat one, you probably can't see too well. I do like that, but I think my favorite is probably that Savage Avengers right there. I think that Savage Avengers is probably my favorite. Here, I'll go ahead and show you that one a little bit. I think that one's probably the favorite one that I have there. It's just a sick poster. It's just a sick poster, man. It's great. So yeah, I think that's probably my favorite. Let's see, Captain Pennsylvania, good morning. Thank you so much for being here. Aggressively Relaxing says, I wish I could open business that could lose money like a strip club with a strong social media presence. Candy tagged you in her photos from last night. I am Two Skills says, Trinity, I never asked you, how do you feel about the New Mutants trailer? I thought it was good. I thought the trailer was pretty good. I think they went a little too much with the horrific, side. But apparently that's kind of what they're going with a little bit more, kind of going that kind of angle. And I think that's cool. It looks really dark and things like that. I've seen somebody making a joke like, what, is this a DC movie? Which I thought was pretty funny. But I thought the trailer was pretty good. I think the movie, I have high hopes for the movie. I don't have high expectations of the movie, which I think is a good thing. Just like when I went in to watch The Dark Phoenix, I didn't have high expectations of it, but I am looking forward to seeing it. I'm hoping it's going to be good. The one thing, I guess what I'm leery about is the fact that it's one of those ones that Fox made before they went out, and we know that they're towards the end, aside from, maybe Logan, is they weren't the best at handling the movies that they did. But I'm looking forward to this being a good movie. We got to look at, when it comes to the movies, it's not necessarily the studio that we got to look at so much as we got to look at the director and the producers who are making the movie. When I was a child, I would watch a movie and I thought it was all about the actors. The actors and what they're doing on screen like that. And certainly actors definitely add to a movie, but more so, it's more about the producers, the director. Hell, it can even come down to things like who's the camera, the director of photography. Go look at any work that Sam Raimi and Bill Pope have done together, and tell me that that's not just a beautifully shot movie. I don't care what movie it is that they've teamed up on. Go tell me it's not a beautifully shot movie. Because for one, Bill Pope is great at what he does, and two, Sam Raimi is a good filmmaker. And when you get those two together, absolutely great work that they do. They're absolutely phenomenal filmmakers. And are they the greatest? Absolutely not. But when they get together, they are really good. Like I said at the beginning, teamwork makes the dream work. Definitely. Let's see. Sith Lord says, thought the trailer looked pretty good. Liked seeing magic. Yeah, that was pretty cool seeing magic in there. Vlad Wright says, there is a channel called Collider Level. Is that what you're talking about when you say Collider? No. I think there's like they have several different channels because I know that they had like where they did a lot of their work on. I never really followed them. I just know of them and I've seen a couple of their shows. Really, the most I ever watched of them was when they did they did. God, it was on Jedi Council where Josh from the Den of Nerds went on there and was talking with. God, who was on there? I think Mark Fernandez was on there, and I can't remember this other gentleman's name. I think he was a Mark also. I want to say. I was referring to him at the beginning as well. Um, but yeah, I never really watched them that much. Okay, Lonely Banter says, yeah, no, the channel is Collider. Josh Rhodes says, Collider, Titanic, Jack Hind, Iceberg. That's a great analogy there, Josh Rhodes. It's absolutely true. Very good point. Aggressively Relaxing says, I don't do all the stuff you were supposed to do to grow your channel, but I'm not sure if I have integrity or if I'm just lazy. Being lazy doesn't mean you don't have integrity. It just means that you're a little bit lazy. That's all that really means. But certainly, you guys should go check out Aggressively Relaxing's channel because his channel is really great. You can tell that this guy should be actually writing for some of these late night TV shows or whatever. Maybe a sitcom or something, because his stuff is absolutely hilarious. Great stuff. He does these good FM radio parodies of Marvel comics. They crack me up. He also does these spam calls. You know, when you get those spam callers from all those people wanting to talk to you about your credit cards and stuff like that. He talks to those people as well, talking about comics. There was I think it was like the second one he ever done, was absolutely hilarious because a lot of he's trying to get people to say, "Hey, make sure you subscribe and smash that like button." And one of the guys on the other end of the phone ended up telling him to f off. It was absolutely hilarious. Vlad says it's Savage Avengers. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, Conan's in that poster. Fanjexter says, in prepping for my show tonight, I was looking for more info on Bloodshot. I'm very worried this might be terrible. There's no marketing. One trailer back in October is a month away, and no poster or second trailer. Yeah, I hear you there. I definitely hear you. They definitely, and I don't think that they're necessarily thinking that this is going to be a mass appeal movie, that all kinds of people are going to go out and see this movie. Mainly the people who are going to go see that one, to go see a movie like that, are going to be hardcore people. The people who have been watching. Oh man, what happened there? I froze up. Can you guys still hear me? Okay, there we go. I don't know, my OBS froze up on me. I think this movie is going to be more for their hardcore audience, people who have been following Valiant comics, who've been reading Valiant comics, who know this character of Bloodshot, and just going with that. I don't, they probably. I'm not sure what kind of a budget they have for this movie, but that is definitely something I think you're right. They should definitely be trying to push that a little bit more. And I do know that they're advertising it a lot in their comic books. And I think here next month they're getting, probably towards the beginning of the month, they're going to be doing like a comic book, kind of revolving around it, putting out, things like that. But certainly I do think they need to do something to, they do certainly need to do something to draw in more of a crowd. But maybe they're just banking on the fact that they know that their average movie watcher, like their average person who watches the MCU, might not be going out to watch that movie. The average person watching DCU movies might not be going out to watch that movie. I think they're looking more for their people who are already buying their comic books. But I could absolutely be wrong there. But that by no means that they shouldn't be out there trying to push this movie more. Certainly. Disney Marvel's. Oh man, is this thing really? It says YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth streaming. Let me know, guys, if you guys are having anything on my OBS. It's showing everything's all good, but let me know if it's freezing up or anything, guys. Let's see. Captain Pennsylvania says Disney Marvel Studios testing the waters. Could be. Sith Lord says not too sure about Bloodshot myself. Just seems like the standard Vin action flick. Yeah. I hear that. I mean, I definitely hear that. Vlad Riot says Second Street Marvel. Have you seen the Mandalorian Western trailer? I have not. It says if not, watch it when you have time. It's pretty funny. I'll do that. So let's go ahead and get into Black Widow. one thing I've talked a lot about, a lot of people are out there talking about Black Widow. This movie it's going to be a prequel and things like that. And Kevin Feige said it's going to be a prequel. It's going to take place after Civil War and all of these things. And very well much, he never said it was a prequel for one. Didn't say it was an origin story, and just because he says that it takes place after Civil War, around that time, that doesn't mean that could just mean that 5-10 minutes of the movie takes place during that time. One of the things that I have been speculating here for a while, and I've talked about is in Avengers Endgame, we've seen that the Incredible Hulk, or I guess Hulk in this case, I guess he wasn't so incredible in that movie, was he? Depending on how you feel. One of the things that he said, a lot of people were talking about, with her death and everything, was that when he went to snap, he says, I tried as hard as I could, but I couldn't bring her back. Okay. One thing I want to say about that, and I've talked about this before, is maybe the reason that he couldn't bring her back is because she wasn't dead. What do you guys think about that? Do you think the Black Widow is actually dead in the MCU? And I've got a couple of reasons why I believe that. For one, I just think that maybe she wasn't dead because the one most important thing is Tony Stark had invented time travel, right? He invented time travel, and he built, got his device and everything. And there's one thing that we know about Tony Stark is, because we've seen in the movie, he invented time travel. Then next thing you know, he's at the Avengers compound talking about how he has created time travel and a way for them to go back and fix things in their timeline, right? To make things right. And then then they go through all the motions, and they go through and they do that. Black Widow ends up sacrificing herself for the Soul Stone. Okay, for one, we know there's one thing we know about Tony Stark. For one, Tony Stark is a sham. He rides on the coattails of Arnim Zola. But two, he doesn't invent something and not go test drive it. You know what I mean? He like the one about the only one that he did was the first Iron Man suit. He made the suit in the cave, and he escaped, and that was essentially his test drive, was getting out of there. It was just kind of a life or death situation. But then even in that same movie, we see that he goes and develops the new the Mark II Iron Man armor. He builds it, he develops it, and what's the first thing he does? He goes out and he takes it for a test drive to see how it is, right? And then he continues to work on it, to continue to work on it from there. He took it for he invented it, and he went and took it for a test drive. Okay, do you think that he took that time machine, him inventing time travel, and didn't go test drive it? You didn't think that he went and what was one of the things that he said when that when he first got there to the compound is they want to go through and make sure that they're basically save everybody, leave things as they were, and so because he didn't want to lose what he had, being his family, his daughter, his apparently at this point we're going to guess that they were married already, wife. So, this family that he had built, this life that he had built, do you think for 2 seconds that he went out there and invented time travel and didn't think of a way, or didn't go to a different time to see how things would end up, to see the things that he could do differently, in order to assure that everybody would be okay? I don't know. Let me know how you guys think about that, because I think that he probably went and actually did some things on his own, in a manner in which wouldn't have jeopardized himself, obviously, so he could make it hop back through time to where he came from to get back without harming things too much. Do you think that he didn't go out there and put some of those assurances in place, take out an insurance policy, if you will? I think he did. I think he absolutely did. And even if he didn't, the other reason why I don't think that Black Widow would necessarily be dead is because even in the comic books, especially recently, she has been reborn in the Red Room as a clone with implanted memories. And I think that's something very important. And again, I do think that is possibly why, and we've seen them experiment with that technology too. We've seen them we've seen them experiment with some of that mind stuff throughout the whole MCU, right? We've seen how basically Zola came up with the machine that they're lobotomizing Bucky with, right? And that they were obviously using on all of these other soldiers that they had to get them to listen, to do what they wanted, to program them to do what Hydra wanted them to do. So, for one, they had that technology. Two, we see in Avengers Infinity War, where Shuri had that technology where she was talking about the Mind Stone, where there was in Vision's head. They were kind of working on some of that stuff, and she was talking about how why they didn't do these certain things. When they were creating Vision, just some of those different things. I can't remember the exact quote. And Bruce Banner was like, because we didn't think about that. You know what I mean? So I think they have all that technology. Maybe he went to a different time, found Black Widow, or maybe he went back into the past, found Black Widow, and said, okay, we need to somehow just download her memories or whatnot, and keep those on file in a database or whatnot, and so we can reclone her and give her memories back. And how are they going to clone her? They have that technology already. Avengers, Age of Ultron. They had, we seen that they took Clint Barton and they gave, after he had been shot, and they basically gave him that skin graft, and, said that, it was a part of him, said that it was perfectly human skin. They created Vision with that stuff, and Vision was obviously created with some of the vibranium as well. So we know that they have all of the technology out there to do this. We know they have the technology to make the clones. They have the technology to basically get her memories and be able to reimplant them. And we also know in the comic books that she has been brought back in that same way as well. But to me, that also explains why Hulk could not bring her back in Avengers Endgame when he went to do the snap. Why couldn't he snap her back? I mean, for sure, it's easily arguable that because she sacrificed herself for the Soul Stone. Yeah, sure, of course, that's easy to argue, but I would still argue that maybe the reason that he could snap her back is because she was not dead. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. Let's see. Fanjecture says, and Fanjecture, I'm pretty sure I've heard of you guys. I mean, are you the same Fanjecture that I've seen? I mean, God, on the Campia show, were you guys like a sponsor one of the shows maybe one time, or maybe he's talked about like your website or something that you guys have done? I don't know. Or did you guys just use the name? I don't know. This sounds very familiar. But Fanjecture says, aggressively relaxing. Thanks. I'm trying to join in this incredible community of film YouTube getting their voices out. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Fanjecture only has 6 subs. Everyone, get in on the ground floor of this channel. Yeah, definitely. Go check them out. I'll make sure that I go check you guys out as well, Fanjecture. Just that name sounds very familiar to me. I'm True Skill says, hey Trinity, hey Trinity, is your day show PG and your night show R rated? The Trailer Park Live that I do every single Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is R-rated. That's where I cut loose and I'm a little bit more myself. But yeah, here during the day, I try to keep these morning movie chats. I always try to keep them PG, definitely. LB says it's fine. Okay, nice. Sith Lord says ScarJo is a hottie. Yes, she is a very beautiful woman. I've liked Scarlett Johansson probably ever since I remember first seeing her. I was younger back in those days, but anybody ever see The Horse Whisperer? You ever seen The Horse Whisperer? It's a pretty good movie. My mom loves that movie. But yeah, I've seen her in that. One of the other things I remember seeing her in was Ghost World. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Ghost World, but that movie is really good with Thora Birch, Steve Buscemi. I can't remember exactly who all else was in that, but that was a really good movie, Ghost World. And that's actually based on a comic book as well. Very, very good movie. certainly not the first movie that ever did it, but one of the first movies I remember seeing one of those post-credit scenes, which was a great post-credit scene in that movie with Steve Buscemi at the end of the credits on Ghost World 1 that you guys should definitely check out. It's kind of a slow burn of a movie, you know, it's just like a slower paced movie. It's not like got action or anything like that in it, but it is a very good movie. I think you guys should check that out. Um, Discovery Bay Comics, what's up, my brother? How are you doing, JB? Hope you're doing good. Make sure you guys go check out Discovery Bay Comics as well. He's probably getting ready to start his live show here at 9 p.m. as soon as I'll be done wrapping things up here. I'm sure he'll be starting his show after that. And what Discovery Bay Comics does is he actually goes out there and promotes other YouTube comic book YouTubers out there in the community, when they're premiering new videos and things like that. And thank you, JB, for yesterday and pointing out that the video that I was getting ready to premiere of the X-Men issue number 4, I had it titled as X-Men issue number 5. Thank you so much for pointing that out. I was watching your show yesterday. I was like, oh, really? I was like, did I? You know, I immediately got on my computer and changed it. So thank you very much for that, JB. Captain Pennsylvania says, never thought about that, but I think you're onto something. Yeah, and I've been wanting to do a video specifically about some of my Black Widow theories. I have a lot of theories that I've had just brewing in my head. I need to sit down and make sense of them all. The thing is, when I get thinking about these theories, my mind just starts going a million miles an hour. I lose sleep. I can't think straight, and it's just crazy. I go crazy thinking about this some of this stuff. Two Brothers Comics says, really good points you're bringing up. Thank you. Let's see. Aggressively Relaxing says, I like your Stark theory, but I think her resurrection will have something to do with the new Infinity Stone level MacGuffin. I assume the 10 Eternals will become said MacGuffin. Very well could be. Very well could be. I'm True Skill says, everyone subscribe to Fanjexer channel. He's just starting out. Yeah, we'll go check that out. Captain Pennsylvania says, Tony Stark ain't shit. My bad. Just how I feel. He did so much shit that we didn't see off film. I'm sure. Oh yeah, I'm sure he did a lot that we didn't see on screen, and we'll soon find out about it. But to me, I always say that Tony Stark is riding on the coattails of Arnim Zola's work. The only thing that he really invented was his Iron Man suit. When he, recreated that element, that was something that Arnim Zola had done. Arnim Zola did that clear back in 1942 with him and Red Skull when they were in that little lab, and they went and they made the thing, and then later Captain America found it in the lab, and he ended up taking it to Howard Stark, who was researching it, who thought he didn't have the technology to make it, that Arnim Zola actually made. But also, we could just take a look at, Arnim Zola in Captain America: The First Avenger. He had blueprints for his robot body. One could easily argue that, he created a somewhat of an Iron Man suit himself with a built-in AI, because he actually let himself live on in a supercomputer that we've seen in Captain America: Winter Soldier. And in that case, you could actually say that he's the guy who invented the means to take somebody's memories and download them into a computer database so they could later be re-uploaded to a different shell, if you will. Just some things to think about. Discovery Bay Comics says, I think if it's a prequel, maybe Cap runs into her, and yeah, easily could be. And it may not have been Tony Stark that went and saved her. Maybe it was Captain America that actually went back when he was going through to return everything where it needed to be. Maybe he's the one who actually saved her. That could easily be. It could easily be that as well. Captain Pennsylvania says, Don't give me hope. Two Brothers Comics says, maybe a mutant brings her back, and boom, X-Men, House of X, Powers of X style. Very well could be. And I think that's could be part of the reason why Jonathan Hickman was allowed to come in and kind of look over and reboot, do that soft reboot of the X-Men in the Marvel Universe. Sith Lord says they could do that too. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a world of possibilities of things they could do, Fanjexer says, I think you make a ton of valid points, but I think the core people won't ever come back for more than cameos. It just seems they are all ready to move on with their careers. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that too. I do think that I think Robert Downey Jr. will be back. I think Chris Evans is definitely going to be back. And yeah, I think they'll definitely be back for sure. Black Hat Cinephile, thank you so much for being here. Says could be. Yeah, certainly could be. I mean, it's all theories, just theories I've come up with in my own head. Maybe Marvel should get a hold of me because I have some ideas on how they could save Captain Marvel in the MCU, and still work within the confines of everything that they're wanting to do with Miss Marvel and all of those different kinds of things as well. And another thing I've speculated here on the channel is that I actually believe that the next Captain Marvel movie, of which we've absolutely heard nothing about, I think the next Captain Marvel movie, and I've called this out a long time ago, is I think the next Captain Marvel movie is going to be Captain Marvel Civil War 2. That's we've just had everything in the MCU that helps point to that becoming something of a reality. I'm not sure if you guys have paid attention to that storyline. I know a lot of people don't like Civil War 2. I'm not saying it's a great story or anything like that, but I think Kevin Feige could actually make it a better, more interesting story. But we have everything that's led up to that. We have everything that's led up to the assault on Pleasant Hill, to Civil War 2, on into Secret Empire. And I think those would all be great things to see to come on screen for a lot of different reasons. Maybe one of these days I'll get a little more into that and do a video on that because I've talked about that numerous times here on the channel before. Captain Pennsylvania says could have been Yelena at the bottom of the cliff. Could be, could be. I mean, they are master of disguises too, and that's the funny thing I always think when people talk about these trailers, like, oh, look at her, look at Black Widow's hair length, look how it's styled, and all this stuff. She's a spy. She's a master of disguise. Her job is disguising herself. If you're gonna take a look at her hair length and how her hair looks and judge things on that based on a trailer, it means nothing. That's what she does. That's what she does. Um, so yeah, definitely. Fanjexer says, yeah, we ran ads on Campier's show for a little while we were running a box office gaming site, but right now have pivoted to YouTube. We have a weekly live debate tournament bracket show on Tuesday nights. Nice, nice. Okay, so make sure you go check out Fanjexer. Yeah, we'll go and check that out. DKOT Star Wars, or James, says she just keeps getting more beautiful as she ages. Definitely, definitely. Captain Pennsylvania says Ghost World is amazing. Yeah, it is a good movie. It's a good movie. Sith Lord says, sounds familiar. Yeah, it was a good movie. I think that came out, like, I want to say 2001, maybe? 2001. Discovery Bay Comics says, the lineup starts at 15 after the hour. Okay, so I still got a few minutes left. And then go and check out Discovery Bay Comics. JB is an excellent supporter of the comic book community. Comics on the Mind says, good morning, 2nd Street. Caught one of your lives. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Comics on the Mind. Let's see. Captain Pennsylvania says, he did. Arnim was ahead of the game. Yeah, Arnim Zola was definitely ahead of the game. And that's why he got brought in to, what was it, Operation Paperclip? Yeah, definitely. DKOT Star Wars, or James, I'm sorry, I keep forgetting, says, love these. Your love of these stories is so awesome, and it really shows. Well, thank you, thank you. Sith Lord says, want to see MODOK. Yeah, that would be very interesting to do. I Am True Scale says, I have a theory on Hulk. Since Marvel has the rights and Mark Ruffalo is getting too old for the role, they can bring in Amadeus Cho. They probably will. I'm not sure that a whole lot of people want to see that, but certainly an option out there. Black Cat Cinephile says, the only Avenger actor who isn't a fan of his own role is Renner. Yeah, and I think they finally did that role some justice in Avengers Endgame when he came out and was Ronan. That was absolutely great. Comics on the Mind says, without Iron Man, what are we talking about there? I must have missed something. Aggressively Relaxed says, the actor who played the leader just played Mirror Guy in Watchmen. Maybe that show was a big enough hit to bring the leader back. I'm not for sure what we're talking about there. The leader of who exactly? James says Civil War 2 could be good, but Danvers has to have weakness that can be exploited, or it will be very Transformer-ish. I think she certainly has weaknesses that can be exploited. Like I said, there's some things that I want to. I've been slacking on making this video about saving Captain Marvel. I would love to see Red Hulk. Oh, I think we all would. Chillmonger says Civil War 2? Nah, they wouldn't repeat titles. All right? Not Marvel, not the MCU. Would love Comics Online says would love to see Secret Invasion event. Yeah, and I think that's certainly possible. And that could very well be the next Avengers movie is Secret Invasion that I think could happen after Captain Marvel's Civil War 2. Captain Pennsylvania says they could call Civil War 2 the big fight. Yeah, they could. They could. I feel Secret Invasion or Secret Wars, maybe both are coming. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And they've, there's been talk about that. Certainly. Sith Lord says Rogue draining Captain Marvel would be awesome if she did like she did back in the comic books back in the day. Yeah, that's something they definitely have to explore. Certainly, certainly. Fanjextra says would be a better film for Captain Marvel next before Civil War 2. Be a team up movie with Nova would be a good way to introduce him. Absolutely, absolutely agree. Comics Anonymous says yes, God Doom. Yeah, not a fan of Bro Hulk. Yeah, I hear you. Captain Pennsylvania says, I need Rogue to drain Captain Marvel. It's only right. I love Rogue's character. Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think you'll find anybody that could disagree with that. And if they do, they're crazy, man. They're crazy. Or is this where I'm supposed to say, they're not a real fan? Just kidding, man. James says, all good, man. Even DKOT or DCOT works. Love following you. Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Captain Rogue is a beast. Yeah, Rogue will be awesome once they bring her in. Hulk villain named Leader, super big brain. Oh, okay, yeah. I gotcha. Cousin Angel says, oh, and skipped. I think he mentioned the Leader. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they have. Black Cat Cinephile says the chemist in the Incredible Hulk movie. Right. Yeah. What I forget his name all of a sudden, but he was played by that really great actor out there as well. Oh man, why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? But yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Comics on the Mind says that was a crazy comic of Rogue taking out Ms. Marvel. Yeah, it definitely was. Cousin Angel, thank you so much for being here. Says what's up? Aggressively Relaxed says Hulk villain, the Leader. He has a huge head and is also green. He was set up in the Norton Hulk, and they also set up Hulk doing BJJ, but never did anything with it. Right. Captain Pennsylvania says, I heard they were coming back to some of that. Yeah, and I've heard rumors of that as well. And supposedly, there's that rumor going around that that they're going to be possibly bringing in those Netflix Marvel characters in the MCU, possibly with some of the same cast and things out there like that. It's really hard to say. That I think that would be cool. I think guys, I wasn't really into all the TV shows. I'm not really into a lot of the TV shows, but I do have to say that out of all those Netflix Marvel shows, my favorite one was Jessica Jones. For some reason, Jessica Jones season 1 just did it for me. I thought it was a really good series. And I never did get around to watching season 2. Cousin Angel says, I think you would be a perfect Professor X, Second Street. Yeah, except for, admittedly, I've always wanted to be an actor, but I don't know that I have the acting skills or the chops to be Professor Xavier. But that would be cool. And I think it would be good to see James McAvoy come back and reprise his role. I doubt they would do that. I honestly think they shouldn't do that. I've heard people say that they'd like to see Michael Fassbender come into the MCU, possibly not only to just maybe play Magneto, but even Doctor Doom. I think he would be a great Doctor Doom as well. But for me, I've been saying this before. I think a great Doctor Doom would be John Krasinski. I just think he would be great at it. He could bring in that humility to it. He could bring in that character that you want to relate to. He could be that good guy. He could be that bad guy. He's a genius. John Krasinski is a genius. I think he would be great to come in and play Doctor Doom. I mean, wouldn't you like to see John Krasinski play Doctor Doom? To heck with playing Reed Richards. Who wants to see him play Reed Richards? Anybody can. Okay, maybe not anybody can play Reed Richards. I think he would bring an excellent dynamic to Doctor Doom. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for being here for the morning movie chat today. I've been going for about an hour now. And thank you guys so much for being here. Now, if you're not already, make sure you're subscribed and all of that good stuff. I'm gonna have some comic book review dropping here later today. I believe around 2 o'clock. I have that scheduled for doing some giveaways there for some digital copies of comic books. And make sure you go back and watch any of the comic book reviews I've dropped here over the past couple of days because I am giving away some digital copies of those comic books. And to get entered into those, well, for one, you have to go back and watch the video and find out how to get entered into them. I'm just here telling you that you need to go watch them to get entered into those giveaways. But also make sure you stay tuned in tonight where I will be doing a review of the new Dawn of X titles that will be coming out here at your local comic book shop this Wednesday. I will also be, should be dropping tomorrow morning probably, a review of The Plot, issue number 4. I got an advance copy from one of the writers of that book. The Plot is an excellent book being written and published by Vault Comics, one of my favorite publishers out there right now, a small independent publisher, been around since 2016. That are going out there and proving that it is still possible to make great comic books, to actually make it in the comic book industry, giving its current state, as much as people want to say that comic books have gone downhill and that comic book industry is going downhill. Vault Comics is out there pumping out excellent comic books, excellent titles with great writers, great art, and things like that. I think you guys should definitely go check them out and be paying attention for my review of The Plot issue number 4. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe and do all of that good stuff. Make sure you follow the links down in the description. Go check out my Patreon. Feel free to send some donations in through Streamlabs if you'd like to. Again, it's nothing required. I just appreciate you guys being here every single day to watch me flap my gums about the things that I love, which include movies, music, on occasion music, and even comic books. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you all in the next video. Later.